Sir Francis Bacon once said, "Some books should be tasted, some devoured, but only a few should be chewed and digested thoroughly." But with so little time to read so many books, how do we avoid reading bad books and find the great few books to read that should be chewed and digested thoroughly? So in this video, we're going to tell you the top 10 books to read. Number 10, Factfulness. 10 Reasons We Are Wrong About the World by Anna Rosling Ronlund, Hans Rosling, and Ola Rosling. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and anxious about the current state of our planet. We often lose sight of the good because the bad seems to be taking over. One paragraph from the book sticks out. Here's the paradox. The image of a dangerous world has never been broadcast more effectively than it is now, while the world has never been less violent and more safe. This book provides clarity on global issues and why certain situations arise, and how to not get wrapped up in the negative and fearful narrative that we've gotten so accustomed to doing. As the book reminds you, remember, things can be bad and getting better. Number 9, A Paradox of Choice by Barry Schwartz. Barry Schwartz is an American psychologist and often published in the New York Times. He has 8 books under his belt, but this one is by far the most recognizable. Picture this: you need to buy yourself a new laptop. You had to go to an electronic shop. You're faced with 15 different options across different brands, all promising you top speed, performance, and memory. And instead of just grabbing one of them and calling it a day, we're left anxious about which choice will serve us best. And Schwartz says, all this choice hasn't helped us. In fact, it's doing us a disservice. But don't worry, he doesn't leave you hanging. He offers a great method to alleviate that anxiety and make us feel much better, more informed decisions faster. Number 8, Fact vs. Fiction by Jennifer Legard and Darren Hudgens. As clear in the choice of books today, ensuring that we decipher fake news quickly is paramount. Fake news polarizes people, creates fear, discontent, anger, and confusion, and people make a rash or volatile decision, and all for naught. This book is here to help and gets you to recognize and circumvent information that is not accurate. What makes this book special is that it uses real-life situations that are easy to identify with, as the book was published in 2018. It's relevant for both kids and adults, and speaking of kids coming up, we share why it's impossible to start educating them about thinking more clearly as soon as possible. To become a clear and critical thinking adult, it's important to start as young as possible, which is why we recommend this book. Number 7, The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. Let's share one of the hundreds of thousands of 5-star reviews. After reading this, you'll never look at any man-made object the same. You'll question everything from doors to tea kettles to the most sophisticated computer program. The next time you fumble with an answering machine, a web page, or a light switch, you'll think back to the lessons from this book. It's almost liberating once you can see beyond the design of everyday things. Anything designed for humans goes through a process far more detailed than what you'd expect. This book will change the way you experience and interact with your surroundings. You'll acknowledge great design versus terrible design, and even your purchasing decisions will change according to what you learn in this book. Number 6, A Field Guide to Lies by Daniel J. Levitin. Daniel J. Levitin is a New York Times bestseller, and his 3rd book doesn't disappoint. This one opens your eyes and mind. You're dealing with information overload. It's something we all face these days. While some information was exposed to, it can be tricky to figure out facts from fiction. In this book, the author explains how to use science as a bedrock for critical thinking. Once we've got the information in front of us, it's vital to not blindly accept it and move on, but instead double or triple check its plausibility, its origin, and reasoning, and only then make an educated decision or viewpoint on a subject. The book has thousands of 5-star ratings. One reviewer said, "In this book about how to spot problems with the facts you encounter, problems that may lead you to draw the wrong conclusions, critical skills that we need today since we are blasted with information in a society based on conspicuous consumption." Before going further, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to Top Everything YouTube channel. Number 5, Calling Bullshit by Carl Bergstorm and Jevin D. West. This book is here to help you call out bullshit when you see it. Why this book is particularly worthwhile is it dives into the bowl from our past and explains why it's still so prevalent today. The objective of both authors is to have a properly functioning society, and the only way we're going to get it is if we separate fact from fiction. Number 4. Critical Thinking. Skills for Dummies by Martin Cohen. You have an argument or heated discussion with someone, but you become so flustered, and only after you walk away you think of the perfect comeback or argument. But it's too late, right? So this book will help you to manage your thinking in a coherent way that will come across as well thought out, educated, and reasonable. Just as a side note, it doesn't mean you're going to win every argument. It just means you'll develop reflective thinking that will help you to understand someone else's point of view or even admit if you were wrong. Number 3. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. This book began as a weekly column in newspapers in Germany, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. It was first published in Germany and topped Germany's Der Spiegel bestseller list. And since its translation has topped bestseller lists in the UK, Ireland, India, Singapore, South Korea, and Iran. Once you've read it, you'll be recommending it to everyone because you'll notice a dramatic improvement in your thinking skills. The Guardian reported that Rolf Dobelli isn't thinking clearly, but when you listen to his arguments, you might disagree with their statement. Dobelli puts things into a unique perspective. He highlights how we fear terrorism, but we should fear driving by because more people die on roads than by terrorist attacks, or how we believe that 98% fat-free is a healthier choice than 1% fat. Number 2. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This one comes highly recommended by thousands of readers, and it's easy to understand why Daniel Kahneman has hit the nail on the head by thinking fast and slow. Kahneman is an expert in the field of judgment and making decisions and behavioral economics, which saw him winning the 2002 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences. The book speaks about the two ways in which we make decision system, one fast, emotional, and intuitive, and system 2, which is slower, logical, and deliberate. He brings forward theories on how to marry the two systems to make for a better and more fulfilling decision making. Kahneman aptly quotes, "Our comforting conviction is that the world makes sense, rests on the secure foundation, our almost unlimited ability to ignore ignorance." Number 1. The Demon-Haunted World by Anne Druyan and Carl Sagan. In this book, the authors dwell into the well-known fallacies of witchcraft, UFOs, demons, and faith healing and bring a comedic theory across, dubbed the Baloney Detection Kit, which, based on the name, you can probably figure out what they mean. Sagan was an astronomer, planetary scientist, and astrophysicist, just to name a few of his titles. Throughout his life, he offered up some amazing literary works, including Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors, Billions and Billions, and this one, The Demon-Haunted World. It's got plenty of 5-star ratings like this one. Always insightful. It seems that Sagan just wanted to watch the world learn. I should have read this book at 14. Honestly, this should probably be required at high school readings for everyone. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below.